Well, students are living the learning in a fresh way as the new dairy facility is officially open at Lakeland College. We find out how the local supply is being managed.
And it was 4 years ago, October, I received a phone call from a student here
at the best agricultural college in Canada. Yeah.
After 6 months of pouring concrete, emotions are running high at Lakeland College as the new Dairy Learning Center is officially open.
This is a state-of-the-art learning center. There's nothing else like it in the country, and I'm proud that we're supporting Vermilion in leading the way in advancing the dairy industry here.
The new Dairy Learning Center at Lakeland College was built at a cost of some $9 million. Now, this is the heart of the operation, and when it fully comes on stream, some 16 cows can be milked at once.
So in essence, the cows almost milk themselves. We also have a feed kitchen, which is really unique and new technology, and automatic feeding of the cows, as well as automatic feeding of the calves.
With input from the federal government and the Growing Forward 2 program, the new facility is already sparking interest for academic collaboration across the country. It's allowing the college to double its herd, and when fully online, the barn can service some 300 animals. Alberta Milk is also on board, signing a memorandum of understanding for $5 million in quota. And Eagle Builders, who got the energy-efficient 47,000 square foot barn up in record time, is also giving back.
They just provided today $100,000 towards a scholarship to our students in the dairy program here at Lakeland College.
So students are now shooting for the Milky Way, if not aiming for the stars.
It's amazing, just being able to train in a new facility that offers everything that's new and upcoming to the industry.
The clock is ticking as Canada plans to legalize marijuana on July 1st, 2018. Ag producers are finding out how to stay safe on the new growing operation.
You're looking at warehousing on a big level.
Keith Castongay is the director of the Manitoba Farm Safety Program. He has 30 years in health and safety and was one of the participants at this year's Canadian Agricultural Safety Association conference, where one of the sessions looked at the safe growing, processing and storage of marijuana.
When I look at vegetable growers and I look at hemp growers and the mechanics of how you harvest this stuff, the question was specifically around, is this going to be, is it going to be field driven, or is it going to be are we going to have manual laborers for harvesting?
Ventilation is definitely an issue. When you move a cultivation facility into a large warehouse space, it may not be set up for that purpose.
The U.S. state of Colorado made marijuana cultivation legal in 2012. So they've got 5 years expertise over us here in Canada, and they're sharing that at this conference.
Ergonomics can be an issue, so repetitive motions. There's a lot of trimming and cutting that happens in the industry, so cuts have also been reported. On the more extreme side, though, you can have explosions happening because they're working with different gases and chemicals to perform the extraction process.
Butane is a common chemical used to extract cannabis oils. Without a closed-loop system, even static electricity can cause an explosion. Smith says Colorado has strict fire codes and protocols have been put in place to reduce these hazards.
We developed a guide to worker health and safety in the marijuana industry, and what we tried to do is summarize some of the best practices and what some of our federal United States standards are.
In my conversation with the presenter, there isn't even an exposure level to what the air emissions are here.
Castongay, who also did a stint with the RCMP dealing with the scent that results from warehousing marijuana and preserving samples for court proceedings, agreed that studies on these emissions have not been done, but going forward, production practices need to mitigate all risks.
Now we're looking at it from an industrial way, from a farming way, and we have to figure out how to do that properly, efficiently, and safely.
Well, we've certainly seen a few stories that will be taking those issues with us into the new year, including that story there that revolves around being safe on the new growing operations. Well, when it was coming to the federal tax proposals, that's what got producers' attention the most during the build-up to harvest. Ag Life, the A&R Review, continues after this break. Ag Life, the year in review, as we look back at the growing season of 2017. And this story, well, it broke out literally at the height of harvest season. Ag producers got sideswiped as the federal government called on small businesses to comment on its tax proposals, and producers hammered away, especially on social media, to get the government to hold its hand, fearing the future of the family farm.
That's a huge frustration for producers. These are some of the biggest tax code changes since the early 1970s, and yet we're given such a short time period to make a comment on them, and it's right in the middle of harvest.
Like all producers who are trying to get the crop in before the snow flies, Darcy Edelstern, who farms near Paradise Valley, is pressed by the lack of time to study the details of the federal government's tax proposals. He feels the proposals make it difficult to compensate family for their work if they will be taxed at a higher rate. He feels the rules will be devastating to the family farm, especially when it comes to succession planning.
Comes across as it's easier to sell to a neighbor than it is to sell to family. It appears that family you will be taxed at a higher rate if you sell to family than if you sell to the neighbor, and to producers it makes no sense. It just it seems like this government through the, these sorts of policy decisions are killing the family farm.
Elaine Fraze is a farm family coach who has been advocating succession planning for nearly 30 years. She's been in agriculture all her life and lives with her family in Manitoba. She says farm families across Canada are in the pain of not knowing the implications of the tax proposals.
There was a comment made by Ron Friesen from Myers Norris Penny, who is leading the webinar, that there's a significant incentive to transfer the farm to a third party versus a child, which is in colloquial language, nuts, right? Because families want to create legacy and have a smoother transition.
Fraze says the thinking now is if you're going to sell your farm based on perceived implications, then you need to do so before December 31st. But of course you need to speak to your accountant. Ryan Dice with Leckie and Associates sees the biggest problem facing small businesses is income splitting.
The treatment of the income appears to be that they want to tax it on a dividend tax rate versus a capital gain, and lifetime capital gain exemptions possibly being denied as well.
Dice sees the removal of income splitting as meaning you will have to justify your dividend or wages. You will have to record all work, hence the discussion about the reasonableness test. Once income crosses the threshold, it could be taxed at the higher rate. The government's attempt to close tax loopholes at the height of harvest is not sitting well with producers.
They can try to float it as it is, but it is killing the family farm. It's making it harder for family members to be interested. How can I get my the next generation interested if you can't pay them, or pay them at such a high tax rate there's no incentive for them to stay on the farm?
And one of the keys that got the government to hold its hand, at least for the next little while, is the use of social media by ag producers to get those conversations going regarding the federal tax proposals. Well, that's a wrap on Ag Life, the year in review. We're looking forward to the new year and inviting you to share your thoughts with us for agriculture stories. You can email us at tvnews@newcap.ca. You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/newcaptelevision. You can follow us on Twitter, Newcap TV News, or Instagram, or you can write us at Newcap Broadcasting, 5026 50th Street, Lloydminster, Alberta, T9V 1P3. I'm Gerard Lampow. Thank you very much for sharing this time with us. We wish you and your family all the best for the Christmas holidays and the New Year too. Do take care.